Hello Flosstube, this is Michelle at the Striped Rose, and today is March 21st. It's Saturday morning, and I'm going to do a quick podcast to show you what I've been doing during the quarantine and what I'm going to continue. My last podcast, I think, was in January, and I don't have anything organized, so I'm just going to pull things out. The first thing I wanted to show you is an embroidery that my older daughter did. She saw a picture on Pinterest and came up with this. Pretty good. Hector's snorting and rolling on the floor down there. That's that sound. My younger daughter has been painting canvases. That's her creative, one of her creative outlets. So this is Bella's picture. I've been cross stitching and knitting and crocheting. I'll show you the knitting and crocheting really quickly so that it'll be quick and painless. Hey Jerry! Well, I guess I won't show you all of it. I'm still working on my Embrace socks with Knit Picks Felici yarn in summer camp. The ball of yarn is stuck in this one. This one I'm already decreasing for the toes. I put some fluorescent pink, it's either opal or, oh, what's the other? Regia. So those are my Embrace socks that I just haven't been working very much on them. I've been making dishcloths. These are just a couple. I always do the same pattern. I use a pattern called Windowpane Dishcloth. I knit them very loosely because they shrink up a lot. Jerry, will you hand me that pink and white striped dishcloth that's on the top of the stack over there? They shrink up a lot. I'm still trying to find a way to keep them soft. If you air dry them, they're hard. If you blow dry them a lot, they're hard. I've also been experimenting with this yarn. It's a I guess it's peaches and cream or lily and cream. It's called Scrub Off, and it alternates regular with this weird. This one has been through the dryer once. I knit it really loosely because I wasn't sure what was going to happen when I dried it the first time. But it's kind of interesting. It's not as weird as it was. So I used the Windowpane dish pattern, except I cast on 41, which is like an extra pane, an extra repeat. And I do 8 repeats instead of the 6 or 7 that's on there. And it's got a seed stitch border all the way around it. Here's some more. This one is called Sea Glass. This is my favorite. And I think I've knit 2 out of this. I love that color right there. And I think on the Joann's website, you can order just the regular cotton yarn that's just that color, which would be fun. And then my never-ending feather and fan scarf out of Knit Picks Cot Lin. I wanted it to be 5 or 6 feet long. And so I was hoping I could get like a foot a ball. So I'm getting, I don't know if this is 4 balls maybe, and a little more, but I can't find 6 balls. I thought I bought 6 balls, but I can only find 5. There's tons of feather and fan patterns. This is one I found. It has 3 garter stitches on each side. And then it called for 2 repeats, but I wanted it wide, so I did the math and made 3 fan patterns or feather patterns, whichever. And this is I don't know if this is the almond colorway. Okay, it's Knit Picks Shine Sport. So sport is between sock weight and DK. Somebody's doing laundry right up above us. And it's the platinum color. Okay, all right, so that's all the knitting and crochet that I have. I finished, well, I'll show you older finishes. I wanted to show you some older things that I had finished. This, I think, is a Kathy Barrick. The pink will fade, the tulip wither, but a virtuous mind will bloom forever. And I didn't sign it or date it. It's got my favorite 632. And then the other one that I brought down to show you is the same verse, but this is Sheepish Designs. Okay, so those are my older finishes. Then I finished, you've probably seen this on Instagram, I finished Isabella Johnstone. I didn't stitch, there was just a red back stitched line in the original and I didn't stitch it. I used the DMC greens. I used Silks for You, PRO 34 for the red. I used a Victoria Motto silk for the white, for the cream. These are cream letters. I don't know if you can see them. And the cow, that's bread dough. It was a Victoria Motto. Oh, I can't remember what the pink was. It was a Victoria Motto. The black, it's more of a blue black. It's Dinky Dye's Black Coral. These little berries right there are the DMCs. I love 924, 927, 928. I love those colors. And the stem is a Dinky Dye. It might be dark chocolate. And eventually I want that framed on my red wall with this. I've showed you this when I was stitching this. This is almost all Silks for You. This is Scarlet House, one of my very favorites. But those two I hope will be on my red wall one day. Put those right there for now. All right, so I've been working a lot on the Blackbird Designs Garden Club series, and I'm passing those patterns along. I think I've been passing those patterns along for 2 years, and not much has gotten passed, but I'm ready to finish it in April. I'm doing it all 12 designs on one piece of platinum. This is extra fabric here. So I'm working on, I just have to finish the back stitching there, which I'm not any. I have finished this one. I have finished this one. I recently finished this one, which is, I think, like my favorite one right there, where the lily grows. She needs a darker color right there, a darker peachy color, I guess, for her neck shadows. I don't know. I just haven't done it yet. I'm going to use Cinnamon Toast. I've been using Cinnamon Toast a good bit. I started this one, 11, and I'm working on this one right here. This is 8, maybe. I don't know if this is... I switched some of them around. So I'm working on that one right there, and then I'll have these two to go, and then that back stitching, and then that will be done. Oh, I would like some coffee if you're making more coffee. So that is a big focus right now. Another piece, this is my focus on a finish as much as I have a focus on a finish. And this is from the 2016 Just Cross Stitch. This is Hands-On Design and Priscilla Blaine. And it's been almost done for about a year. I think I might have started it, not this past fall, but the year before. And really all I have to do are some of the flowers, the Smyrna crosses, and then the finish up this corner. And I'm really hoping, even though it's March, I'm really hoping to get that one done, because I have a lot of fall whips, and I'm gonna have to get some of those done. My leap year start was G Ledger by Reflex de Soie, Appalachian French, however you say it. I gave the cover page to my mom because she junk journals, and I thought she might want to junk journal. So that's all I have. Michelle, Farm Girl Stitcher, has talked about the colors. I'm very thankful for an Instagrammer who gave me her color conversion that she used with overdyed cottons, and I'm pulling some of those. What I've got so far is I'm using, yeah, but can you pick me a prettier mug? Jerry give me my coffee and my Ray Dunn mug this morning. I said, oh, pick me out a secret message, you know, of all the secret messages that I've purchased. He picked me out the one that I got for Bella that says chill. I'm not as amused. So what I did is there's an NPI conversion, which I think Michelle, Farm Girl Stitcher, is using. There's also a Gloriana conversion and a overdyed cottons conversion. So this color across the top and some of the letters is Weathered Barn in the overdyed cottons, which is very weathered. Or it is this variegated Gloriana. I think that's Winter Woods, the one that I've been using for the inside. So very, very different. And you'll have to go and look it up if you don't know what it looks like. It's the Reflects to Swat. It's the one G Ledger, and it has the big pear on it. I chose Cranberry Cocktail by Dinky Dyes. And then following another lady's suggestion, I used the suggested Winter Woods as the inside border. We'll see. I've tried 2 light blues and 2 light pinks. A is pink, B is blue. That's coming out. I was just stitching it and the A to use it to start my border. On the chart, this is kind of a blue-green, so I used Dinky Dye Swan Lake. The stem, I used Honey Bronze by Gloriana, which is the called for, which is really, really nice. You see that? So I think I'm happy with 4 colors right now. So I'm gonna order a few more light pinks. I had a really pretty light pink called Maddie's Rose that I stitched the A with from Dinky Dyes. It's just a beautiful pale pink, right? No. When I put it on here, this is light mocha, Zweigart light mocha, as always. It just looked lilac-y. It doesn't right now, but when I stitched the A, it looked lilac-y. So that is resting until I get some more pinks and blues to try and do that with. But I really do like that cranberry cocktail. It's a little brighter than Weathered Barn, and it's not all those fall colors like Winter Woods. So that's G Legend. Okay, this is a piece of haul. Already took it out of the bag. Thank you, sweetie pie. What did you pick for mommy? Oh dear. Balance. Okay, so people are picking out messages of things they want me to do. I mean, I have lots of nice Ray Dunn mugs. I have beauty. I just balance. You want me to have balance. Thank you. That's a nice wish. Okay. I either got this on Stash Unload or eBay. I'm thinking this was Stash Unload or Stash Unloading. That just randomly popped up in the pile. The next one I downloaded from Pineberry Lane because Tina and her daughter Ashley on For the Love of the Stitches were doing this. Or Tina's already finished hers. And it's charted for DMC, and I really like the DMC colors. They, you know, this is all going to pick up on the video, the audio.
Sorry.
Well, no, I just didn't want you telling your secrets. So this is DMC. I didn't want to make their faces ecru. And so it doesn't look so bad here, but I've been trying with different flesh tones. Yes, I know that everybody's flesh tone is different. But usually I pull from peachy pinks. If I were actually doing my actual yellow, my actual flesh tone, I would probably do 677 because I'm pretty yellow. But I wanted to make her peachy pink, not yellow. And this is Rosy Glow, maybe an overdyed. It's the only overdyed I used, but yeah, it's just too pink. So we'll have to see. So she has a sister on the other side, and then that one will be done. I think what I want to do is I just want to do the 3 smaller ones because they're all similar size. 3 is a really good number, and I don't mind the Erin Go Bra. That's my Appalachian Gaelic. Ireland Forever, right? I think I don't mind that. That's fine. But I don't want these to be St. Patrick's Day smalls. I'd rather them be general springtime smalls. And so even though I love her little pipe with the shamrocks coming out of it, I really do like that. So I don't know. I like the idea of 3. I like the 3 that are the same size. We'll have to see if I, let's just see if I can finish those 3. Okay. Gosh, this is going to be really, really, really short because I don't have anything. When I was watching Laura and Brenda, they were doing one of their designer spotlights, and it was another Pineberry Lane that you could download. Ann Marston, 1843. I didn't print this one off in color, but it's a sampler, and it's in pastels, and it's charted for some DMCs and some overdyes. And so I had a piece. You'll know if you watch 1, 2, 3 Stitch that they will periodically get a little bit of Lakeside, and sometimes it'll just be a small piece that they have. They don't have the larger sizes. And so one day when I was looking on there, they had a small piece of Lakeside exemplar. And this is really a lot more yellow than, see, it's the same color as my skin. It's a lot more yellow than other pieces of exemplar, but you know, that's okay. It's not buttercream, so I'm good. But you see the pastel colors? I think I'm using, I know this color, this darker pink color right there, is the DMC because I liked that better than the overdyed cotton that I have. But you can see it's pastel. It's really pretty. I'd like to get back to that at some point, but it's not my main focus right now. My main focus is my New Year's Day start, which is Caroline Broomhead, but I'm having some color challenges with that one too. This is a bag that I got on Stash Unload by Jamie Bussman. I think she has some bags that are still on there right now. I think it was $15 plus shipping. And it's a French vintage motif, French motif fabrics. I'll show you the inside. And so my French student Mary Margaret, I put a inside, it's got script. So I told y'all that I was thinking about starting this for Mary Margaret. Roses are red. Roses are red, that's a poetic expression. It doesn't mean I have to make the roses DMC 498. Since I'm making it for Mary Margaret, it's called for Old Red Paint, which I might do for me. But since I was doing it for Mary Margaret, I wanted to make them more mauve because she likes mauve. So I started with Rose Garden, an overdyed Rose Garden. And it was just too, it's like whenever I try to put on lipstick and I get it like too much on there and it's just like this brick opaque color. That's what it made me think of. So this is a silk that I got on 123 Stitch. They'll have their silks like maybe 50 cents off their regular price. So if a Classic Color Works or Gloriana is $8, they might have it regularly priced for $7.59 or sometimes $7.19, and then sometimes you can get it on sale for $6.59, something like that. And so sometimes I just buy mostly just greens and pinks. But so I started using this, and I think I like it a lot. So what I did is I'm going to do the border is called for Old Hickory. Oh, it's Old Hickory 610, but I'm doing it in hickory sticks. And then I've got, now the inside of the flower, or just sort of the contrast, a swirl of the flower is chamomile. And chamomile for me lately has been, you know, like bright green. So I don't know that that's going to happen. I may have to experiment a little bit with that. But I've worked on that a little bit. The plan was to work on that while she was home on spring break. And she was home for a week, and then spring break got extended for 2 weeks, and then now, as you know, it's they're going to have online classes, which is worrying, Mary Margaret. Are you still in there? Because she's taking physics classes and also ballet classes, and online ballet classes. That's kind of tricky too. This one, my Ann Marston, is also in another bag I got on Stash Unload that Jamie Bussman had listed. So now I'm pulling things out of my Stitching with the Housewives basket. This one, a bag I got a long time ago. At the beginning of the year, I was working a good bit more on Valentine, My Funny Valentine by Heartstring Samplery. And I haven't started a new red sampler, even though I've wanted to, one of the European reproduction ones, because I just feel like I need to finish this one first. But if I get half of it done this year, that will be more progress than I've made in the past several years. So if I can get half of that done this year, I'll be good. Okay. Next is a freebie from Stacy Nash that I started on Valentine's Day. And it's a freebie from Stacy Nash. I'm just going to show you a distance picture. It's a basket that says love. And there's no reason to stitch it from the YouTube picture when you can go to Stacy Nash and get it, so I'm not worried. I think I'm using Baked Apple because that's just my favorite overdyed red right now. This brown, which I don't know what it is. It was just random. And then I don't even know what greens I'm using. I pulled all my Victoria Motto greens. So I hope when I get back to that, I'll be able to figure out which of those greens that I was using, because it calls for 2 greens as a contrast. And I hope I have enough of that random brown. I did start Baby It's Cold Outside. I started it the week before the stitch along. I wanted to do the stitch along, but I also, it snowed on the 8th of February, and we've had 2 days where it snowed some here. We're in the mountains, but we're not guaranteed snow every year, and I wanted to mark that first snow day with something, so I just got a tiny bit of a head start on the stitch along, and I guess that's all I have, except for maybe haul. This is an older chart, and I've got some threads ready. I kind of think I might start it on my birthday. It's an older Blackbird Designs, Kind and True. I really like that, and I might start that on my birthday. As far as haul goes, I think I've got 4 patterns to show you. I bought Gulf Coast Stitches, Julie and her daughter. They did a wonderful job during market. Oh, Caroline Broomhead. I'll go find that in just a second. Start Roses, Garden Club. They did such a great job at market with their videos. That was so much work. And I ordered from them while they were there Blackbird Designs Sewing Club, because of course, and Blackbird Designs Heart Can Rest. Let me go get them. Okay, I grabbed a couple more things. This is going to be so super short. It hasn't been that long. It's only been like 6 weeks or 2 months maybe. So I just don't have that much to show you. Okay, so you've seen all these, but oh my goodness, this is the most beautiful one. My Heart Can Rest by Blackbird Designs. I think I've got a couple of threads in my 1, 2, 3 cart. I may start this one on my birthday. I may start 2 on my birthday. I'm not doing Mania this year because right now all I want to do is really big samplers. And last year I started a whole lot of smaller samplers and designs. And honestly, if I were going to pick, 20, 25 designs, smaller samplers and designs, those are the ones that I would still pick. And so I have gone ahead in my little stitching thing. It's this book. That's all it is. I started in January 2018. I printed these calendar pages out. I think it's on Sutton Place, Sutton, Sutton, in January every year. She makes these free. I put them in there, rubber cemented them in there. One for each month. I have one for, a tab for finishes for each year, for starts for each year. So what I've done for May this year, I think I can get 4 years in here, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm not saying it's beautiful like the Needlework Press books, but it's functional for me. So what I've gone ahead and done for May is the ones that I haven't finished, which is most of them. I've gone ahead and written them on their day in May. And so my original idea was somebody else's idea. My original idea was to go along with someone else's idea, work on a previous Mania on the day, and then when there's a free day where I had finished one, do a new start. And I don't know that that's going to happen. Of course, the Blackbird Designs Sewing Roll book, Sewing Club, there are several drums in there that I really want to stitch and then send off to be finished. Like, honestly, really do send them off and be finished. So I may just work on, I don't know, but it's not going to be like it was last year, because these are the ones that I want. These are the ones that I want to finish. So this was a Nashville purchase, and this was a Nashville purchase from Julie at Gulf Coast Stitches. My very favorite one that I wanted so badly is in here, Rose Hips and Ivy. And I've ordered a piece of 36 count fabric. I'm not thrilled about stitching on 36 count fabric, but I'll do it with 1 thread because I just can't do it on 2 threads. But I want it to be a little tiny bit bigger than if I did it on 40 count. And these books smell so bad. Oh my gosh, I kept going outside and I kept thinking, oh my gosh, there is a dead possum somewhere. Because dead possums, that smell is just so particular. There's dead possum. So I'm going outside yesterday. I got to find this dead possum and get rid of it because I can't deal with it anymore. I forget every year. No, it's the stinking Bradford pear on that side of the house that smells like a dead possum. The Bradford pear on this side of the house doesn't smell. Anyway, so on Stash Unload or on Stash Unloading, I think these were from 2 different people, and they may have been one on one site and one on the other. I found these patriotic poppies, and Boo and Bobby. I kind of want to just go ahead and start this, but I haven't done that yet. The last two things that I've gotten, I got on eBay for with shipping. I think one of them I got for $19, which is kind of pricey for a cross stitch pattern that's not a huge reproduction sampler. But that included shipping, because I mean, honestly, you always have to figure shipping on eBay as part of the price. One was $16, including the shipping, and one was $19, including the shipping. And for what they are, that's not that bad. They were both, I think, from the Colonial Garden series. The Good Housewife, because I don't know if her shop is ever going to open again. And when her shop was open briefly, I don't know that she had the Colonial Garden designs available. I can't remember. The one I really wanted was Elizabeth Easton, I think, which was like a fully clothed Adam and Eve. So I got that one. Good housewives in summer will save their own seeds against the next year as occasion needs. One seed for another to make an exchange with fellowy. There's definitely an IE on the end of fellow. Neighborhood seemeth not strange. With fellow, I don't know. And then this one, April and March. I think I'd probably start that one first. I like that. And then I thought, you know, I need to start that one and stitch it now because it's March and then it's going to be April. So many reasons to start so many different patterns. But so I felt like those were reasonable, fairly reasonable for what they are, for the difficulty in finding those. So now I have 4, I think, in this series. I have the one I started for Mania last year. I don't remember the name of it. Good housewives provide, ere sickness do come, of sundry good somethings there in her house, it's called. And then wife into thy garden and set me a plot of strawberries, something, the best to be got. All right, so the last thing I'm going to show you for my shortest video ever is Caroline Broomhead. And I had started this on New Year's Day. And I ordered the Ligonier latte that was recommended, but it looked like somebody had just like spit out coffee grounds all over it. And that's just not my thing. That's some people's thing. The color was beautiful, but it's just not my thing. So what did I decide to do? I think I'm just going to over dye it. Darken it up, maybe even it out, just see what happens. So what I did go to, you're never going to guess what linen I'm doing it on. Light mocha. Zweigart light mocha. Never breaks my heart. So I'm trying to use all the called for colors. This is not the called for pale blue. This was it's Shepherd, Gloriana Shepherd's Pasture, which is definitely a greenish color. And in the pattern, even in the reproduction that's stitched, they look light blue. So Nicole's needlework suggested Dinky Dye's Arctic Ice. That's what she used. And in her pictures, hers just looks darker. She just looks like she has a bluer Arctic Ice. So I'm just not quite happy with it. I've pulled 927, 928. I pulled the DMC conversion, which is 3813, which I think is the same as 504, which is, you know, kind of green. So I think I just want to get it done. So I think I'm going to pick one of those today. I messed up big time on this carnation. These X's right here are supposed to have a line of the green going through them, and I just thought, I'm not doing that. I'm not pulling that out for a line of green. I'm sure it would be beautiful. I'm sure it would be more authentic, but I'm just not pulling that out. But what is that color? It's the Gloriana Malted Milk. That light color right there, Malted Milk. It's just got the most subtle, I hope you can see, just the most subtle variegation. I just love that color. So I think everything else I'm using what's called for, except I think this was called for vanilla pudding, and I'm not going to go out of my way to buy a new white or cream colored silk. So I think I'm just using either natural or pearl Dinky dyes, which I got from, you know, the Dinky Dye starter packs. Not starter packs, that's what I think of them as. Occasionally on Etsy, Dinky Dyes will release, I think they call them oops packs sometimes, and they're varying shorter lengths of some of their silks. Do you get 20? They're $20 each for each pack. And I can't remember how many colors you get. You get a sampling of maybe 15 or 20 colors. But I've ordered maybe 4 packs altogether. You know, a pack here and a pack there. And it is, and so many of those colors I have gone on to purchase full skeins of. It's just such a nice, okay, so I'm using Dinky Dyes Natural. Two of these two are probably, I mean, you get a good size. I don't actually know. I ordered a full skein. This might be a full skein. And they're like $4.50 on 1, 2, 3 stitch. This might be a full skein. I don't know. One of these came in a starter pack, and at least one of them I ordered a skein of. And you just get so many pretty colors. And look, oh my goodness gracious, I am following the law. Sort of. I have Red Deer, Hoochie Majooger thing on there. And I've got my pretty silks. They're kind of messy. I'm not really sure how this one's going to look. This terracotta, which is kind of funny. But oh, look at Malted Milk. Isn't that beautiful? So, and the only one that's not like that of the Glorianas is Weathered Vine, because I ripped the thing in half. So, that's fun. I just got to figure out that one color. It's always just one color. Ooh, I guess I need the pattern in there. One color that holds me back. All right, so really quickly, just to make it a little longer, just to give you more bang for your quarantine buck, I'm going to show you a couple of books that I'm reading. I just can't settle to anything. There's a show on Netflix. There are 3 seasons out, and this is not everyone's cup of tea. I like a little science fiction. It's called The Expanse, and you may have already watched it. And when we started watching it, yes, they say the F word every other word. And the book is like that too. And it's not necessary. It's just not necessary. But when we started watching it, I was just like, wow, this is a really good storyline. And lo and behold, it was from a book, which, you know, helps storylines out when they're from a fully fleshed out story to begin with. The Expanse, and it's science fiction, and wouldn't you know it, there's a pandemic in the first season infecting people. So actually the reason I started listening to it on Audible is because they had one of those sales on Audible where you can buy, I don't have any more cross stitch, just if you don't want to hear me blather. I'm only going to blather for about 5 minutes, but if you don't want to hear it, I don't have any more cross stitch to show you, so you can go if you want to. But all I was going to say is the series is good, is really good. You just, every other word's the F word. I don't know why. But on Audible, they had a deal where you could, you know, start a series and you could get this first book in the series for $5. And actually, you could get in this series that it's The Expanse is based on, you could get the first 3 for $5. So I went ahead and did that, and I've been listening to that about the pandemic spreading. The first one is called Leviathan Wakes, and I'm sorry, because it's on Audible, which is on my phone, I don't have the author's name, but The Expanse on Netflix. And then the first book in the series is Leviathan Wakes. And there's some really different things, but so far I'm enjoying them both for a little science fiction, shoot 'em up, pandemic action. This is funny and good. And I read these. I read the first 3 several years ago. Apparently there's a 4th one out now. I may have talked about this before. I just reread this one and the second one, which is called The Case of the Man Who Died Laughing, maybe. And now I'm going to start the 3rd one, which is called, I think, The Case of the Buttered Chicken. I want anyway. If you like Indian food, you will want Indian food, craving Indian food the whole time that you're reading this detective series. And there's a little glossary in the back to give you some of the Hindi expressions, just some of them that they use. And that's one of the things that fascinates me about movies that are made in India. And have you noticed Netflix has got so many movies from India right now? Sacred Games is really, really good, but it is not for the faint of heart. But it is so good. Anyway, one of the things that fascinates me the most, and my dad works with people from India, and he says that, that it fascinates him too when he's listening to them talk, is the way they switch back and forth between Hindi and English in the same sentence. That just fascinates me. And I want to know, is there like a rule? I mean, which words you say in Hindi and which words you say in English? I mean, how do you know? It just fascinates me to listen to that. Obviously, when I'm watching on TV, I have subtitles, but for some reason, that absolutely fascinates me because I want to know, well, how do you decide inside your brain in a split second which words you're going to say in which language? And the person listening to you, they're just picking it. Fascinating. Anyway, so these Tarquin Hall books, I think he's British and his wife, he is married to Indian-born journalist Anu Anand, and they divide their time between London and Delhi. I had to get a map. I had to be looking at a map of that region to read the book so I could figure out where they were going. Someone, a priest, was decluttering their house. And I don't know if he gave me these or loaned me these. I probably should find out. But the Grantchester books, I've watched some of the series. I got a little annoyed with these two. That's why I didn't finish watching the so far in this book, they're not quite as will they, won't they, annoying. But this is just very nice, peaceful reading. So sometimes I want the pandemic, science fiction, shoot 'em up. And sometimes I just want, peaceful. And sometimes I just want Indian food. Anyway, so the next one, I finished that one, and the next one I think is this, Sydney Chambers. This one I cleaned off the bookshelves a few weeks ago, the upstairs bookshelves. And I found this book. Isn't that a alluring cover? And I think I'm on I haven't finished the first chapter. Yeah, I did. When I returned from stabling the camel, and this is in London, Aunt Dot rides her camel to High Mass. So, Aunt Dot, Father Hugh Chantry Pig, Aunt Dot's deranged camel, and our narrator, Laurie, are traveling from Istanbul to legendary Trebizond on a convoluted mission to spread the word of Christianity, the emancipating power of bathing hats, and other more worldly causes. Along the way, they will encounter spies, a Greek sorcerer, a precocious ape, and Billy Graham with a busload of evangelists. Part enchanting travelogue, part delicious comedy of manners, The Towers of Trebizond is also a bracing meditation on the perils of love, doubt, faith, and spirituality in the modern world. Who could resist? So, I hope I diverted you for a little while from everything that's going on. And I hope you don't mind, but when I do come back more frequently, I just don't have as much stuff to show you. So I hope you can get out and get sunshine. Sunshine is very good for you. I hope you can take some peace each day and not get caught up in all the crazy. Turn the news off. Best advice ever. And I will see you in a couple of months, in a few weeks, when I have a big enough pile worth sharing. I am on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, I overgram most of the time. I'm private just because there were so many people following me that weren't wearing shirts. That was weird. If you request to follow me, I'll go and look at your page, and if I can see that you craft or homeschool or garden or do something besides sell stuff and sell like vitamin shakes, and or if you're a single man in your 50s, otherwise I'll probably go ahead and accept your request. So I will talk to you later.